I've been heading down a one-way street, can't turn around. You've been taking every part of me, now you know where to be found. You got me confused, a little off balance. Thought I knew you, but you got bad habits. I only see blue when I'm thinking about you, thinking about you. I'm feeling anxious and slowly breaking. Give you my heart, but you keep my waiting. Searching for answers, no explanation. You make love so complicated. I'm feeling anxious and slowly breaking. Give you my heart, but you keep my waiting. Searching for answers, no explanation. You make love so complicated. You make love so complicated. I thought I knew you. You make love so complicated. I give you my heart. You make love so complicated. So damn tired of trying to understand why I still believe that what we have was ever meant to last. Guess you made a fool of me. You got me confused, a little off balance. Thought I knew you, but you got bad habits. I only see blue when I'm thinking about you, thinking about you. I'm feeling anxious and slowly breaking. Give you my heart, but you keep my waiting. Searching for answers, no explanation. You make love so complicated. I'm feeling anxious and slowly breaking. Give you my heart, but you keep my waiting. Searching for answers, no explanation. You make love so complicated. I'm slowly breaking. You make love so complicated. I'm only seeing blue. You make love so complicated. Why do I still believe? You make love so complicated. I live my life searching for the light. Been learning to fight through the darkness. I'll get this right. We were born to shine, and we still got time. It's not hopeless. Don't look now. Here comes that awful feeling. My walls are caving in. Heaven help, I can see my ghost on the ceiling. Let me breathe again, 'cause I just wanna live my life. I'm never backing down. I swear I'm gonna fight the good fight. Just wanna get it right. I'm ready for it now. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Yeah, I've lost my crown, but no, I will not bow. You know I'm here right now for the long run. Yeah, you see me down, but you know I'll never drown. You know I'll get back up on it somehow. Don't look now, here comes that awful feeling. My walls are caving in. Heaven help, I I can see my ghost on the ceiling. Let me breathe again. 'Cause I just wanna live my life. I'm never backing down. I swear I'm gonna fight the good fight. Just wanna get it right. I'm ready for it now. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. 'Cause I just wanna live my life. I'm never backing down. I swear I'm gonna fight the good fight. Just wanna get it right. I'm ready for it now. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Good fight. Fight the good fight. Fight. You know I'm gonna fight the good fight. Good fight.
Hello everyone, good evening and welcome back to the Artemis Esports Championship. It is time for round 4 at the world famous Silverstone circuit, and alongside me, myself Joseph, this evening, for the first time in Tier S this season, it's good evening to the man, the myth, the Essex, Oliver Loveland.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Good evening everyone. Hope you are excited tonight. Round 4, AEC Tier S. My first time this season. Haven't commentated since the finale, so I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just warming up at the moment. Drivers not yet into the qualifying session, so apologies about the very short delay. Indeed, this is a look at the calendar then. It is round 4 at Silverstone, and we take a break week next week, so do not come here thinking we're racing. We'll be back in Hungary in 2 weeks' time. This race really tonight kicking off 7 consecutive European races, so this is where the season starts to get intense. Let's take a look at the Teams Championship first and foremost, if I can actually get the right thing. I need to oh god, I need to hide that. No, and we need to unhide that. There we go, there's the Teams Championship.
Whee.
And NVR are still top of the table. An outstanding start, 124 points.
Yeah, really exceeding expectations. I think in the predictions, a lot of people predicted PSR to be the dominant force, but they haven't been on it recently. I've seen a few tournaments, where they've just not quite been what we expected from this PSR TF merge. So they'll be looking to bounce back tonight with Placky and I believe Nick. So a strong lineup for PSR as they try and challenge back for P1.
Yeah, absolutely. PSR, as you said, in P2. Bunga Racing Team, what a week it was last time out. Whether they can replicate it tonight, they almost did in the mini-series with a photo finish between FRT Risks, now David, and they had Dan in the car as well. They're unchanged tonight, so FRT down in P7, only 2 points in the last 2 rounds, could be back on form tonight. Still plenty of time to change the standings, of course. Obviously, looking at the drivers' end of the table, and of course, Liam Bowman did race in the first 2 rounds, picked up race wins in both of them, including a pole position and fastest lap in China for good measure. He has been unstoppable when he's raced here. Third race in tonight. Can he continue his 100% streak?
Yeah, he's been very impressive. I'd argue one of the most impressive on this whole game cycle. So he's going to be looking to continue that momentum. But it's a strong grid tonight. We've got very strong lineups all across the field. So he's going to have to work hard for it. And obviously this track is so tactical with the DRS. So it's going to be a bit of a mission for Liam. But if he could start up the front in qualifying, who knows? As we are getting ready now, just waiting on 2 people.
Yeah, absolutely. Arch there in P2 and our Drivers' Championship. Placky there as well in P3. You know, law of sort of averages tonight. A P8, a P2 and a P8, I think, for him. So perhaps another P2 tonight to continue that alternation of results. Let's go then to the overlay and the mainstream screen now, because we've got quite an overcast picture over the Silverstone wing at the moment. One of the most iconic buildings now in Formula 1 since its completion in 2010. We've got 18 minutes on the clock. Drivers will now be checking the weather forecast and making their decisions.
Yeah, we know what the British weather is like. Always loves to brew up some rain. But at the moment, looks like dry weather. But yeah, as you said, overcast conditions. Josh Gilly's retired, so I think that could be a quali ban that I'm not aware of. You have to confirm that for me.
Yes.
So Josh Gilly out of the session, yeah, with a qualifying ban. First car I could see out is Andrea. I think I saw a Williams going out. Obviously, the cars are all over the place in this pit lane. Not sure what the official reason is, but it's a jumbled pit lane compared to normal grids. But yeah, all the cars going out early. Zinity also retiring. Is that a double quali ban for TTM?
I think so. They had a qualifying ban for a block by Josh Gilly, and they also had another qualifying ban for a block by Zinity. So, double block last week in Austria. Both drivers back in tonight, and being the honourable gentlemen they have obviously come back and served the penalty themselves. You could put it that way, that's for sure. But yeah, no participation from TTM in this session. A team that have impressed a few. Actually, being P5 in this season standing so far.
Yeah, Zinity, I believe, got P7 last week at Australia, so good showing from him. He was a very strong driver when I managed him at NRX, and obviously he did move on to TTM, and he's shining. He's doing very well at Australia, track he loves, obviously. He won Big Twos there last season, if I'm not mistaken, so he knows his way around. I haven't seen him drive at Silverstone, but he's going to have an absolute mission if he wants to get up the field tonight.
P7 in China. Sorry, P7 in Australia, P5 in China. I'll get it the right way round eventually. And a P10 in Qatar as well. So his point scoring finish raked 100% so far. It'll be tricky to keep that ongoing from a qualifying ban, but he's only got to finish 14th on or higher. It's not a full-blown recovery like you'd see with the conventional point standings. We've got the other Aston Martin, I believe, up first. And who else would it be? Other than the championship leader, Liam Bowman. He gets us underway here for the first flying lap of Silverstone this evening. Sets his sights on Abbey Curve. Turn number 1, completely flat out, foot to the floor. He'll keep on the throttle into 3.
Yep, comes into fun now, clipping the apex just perfectly, getting on the power as early as possible without spinning the rears. Goes a bit wide of the apex, but I've heard that is the quicker way round and uses all the curb on the exit. Now we go down the straight up to Brooklands, a long straight. I think we're looking for a low 27, high 26 first sector, and it's a 27.1, very strong from Liam Bowman. Gets it turned in perfectly, and this looks absolutely beautiful for a banker. Going through Luffield now and up to Woodcote. Looks like no Aston Martin ahead, so no toes from the MVR boys on their first runs, and he has to absolutely fling it into Copse in 8th gear. No doubt whatsoever. Uses a tiny bit of the curb on the exit at Red Bull getting out the way there, and now one of the beautiful, most best sections on the calendar. Maggots and Beckett's, and he nails it absolutely perfectly. Get the power down, use all the curb on exit. Now coming up the hanger straight, it's a 1 minute 1.8. This is a very, very strong lap so far, but can he continue it? Now coming up to Stowe, the famous place where I love to sit. I've sat there for the last 2 years. Uses all the curb on exit. Now one of the most difficult sections on the track because you slow it right down, fling it through the left, fling it through the right, get the power down. You don't want to lose the rear, which he doesn't. Comes to the line, first lap of the day. It's a 24.8. What a lap. from our championship leader, Liam Bowman.
Could that be pole already? He's got one hand on it. David, though, only a 10th off at the moment. PR Lucas starting his first flying lap. ETE Andrea 25.3. Next across the line following BRT Lou is SLR Sam. He goes 5th, the slowest of all 5 drivers so far. We've got Elite Risks on a flying lap. I believe he's just received a slipstream from his teammate Bobbert. Drobble up into P3 for the championship leaders Novus Racing. Here comes Elite Risks up to the line then, and he goes 6th, which is quite disappointing considering he had the slipstream, certainly from his perspective anyway. FRT Dan, that's a purple first sector apparently. Good to see Dan, having done quite limited practice I'm told, have a good start to his lap.
Yeah, PSR Nick is 1/10 up on Liam Bowman through the middle sector split. So if he has a good final sector, this is going to be enough for a provisional pole. Uses the sausage curb on the inside of that left and loses the rear on exit. But he's going to come to the line. I think he might have just lost it there. And he's had a shocking final sector. He's only going to be 4th after being up so far up on Liam. And he's, not quite what he was looking for. But the grid is so close. Top 5 within 2 attempts.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking very competitive already. We've just had another car up to line. That was PSR Placky into P6 at the moment. We've still got cars out there at the moment. One of them notably was FRT Dan, but PR Lucas will be up first. I believe he was invalidated, which leaves us with FRT Dan to go P8, 6 thousandths quicker at the moment than Elite Risks. We've just got the final cars to come now on these first laps, including TRT, who got 6 seconds of penalties removed last week. A lot of double warnings you can get around Australia. That actually promoted him back up into P9, so a good result in the end for False Group Esports, who are already ahead of their entire points tally from last season of 34. Next across the line is ESV Bobberts, rounding the final corner now. Plenty of inside curb to try and shorten the route to the line. And the podium sitter in China is up into 7th.
Yeah, and when you were just mentioning there about FGE, Passy went P3 for BRT, so very close times, P2 to P4, 200ths of a second. So the grid is very close as we're going to start heading into our second runs now. No one leaving the garage just yet. But yeah, very competitive, very competitive. We've got 3 different teams in the top 3, 4 teams in the top 5. So looking very spicy if it carries on this way.
Completely ignoring Passy personally there as well. P3 onto row 2 provisionally at the moment. That is a competitive lap from the Bunga Racing Team driver. And by the way, here's a shameless plug. Passy kindly hosting the latest FERA endurance race this weekend in partnership with LDRL. If you want to race that, if you have ACC on Xbox, that's next gen, drop me a message. I'll sort you out a link.
Yep, I haven't actually seen that, so I'll be sure to give that a little check out. But yeah, Passy coming into the pits now. Everyone just cooling off after their first runs, and we've got a bit of a lull. But I do see an Aston Martin going out, and is it Liam Bowman? I don't think it is. I think it's Drobel. Yeah, it is Drobel going out, and I think we're going to start seeing toes now. So these times are going to tumble by maybe a 10th or more just off the toe alone. So yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I hope nobody cries about the advertisement, considering Loveland's logo is literally in the bottom left. So if you want to do your promotional duties, it's a good time.
I'll save it for a safety car or something when we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
I've got it all lined up.
He's got an entire sheet of
I've got
marketing
a whole
strategies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Blimey. Right, TRT back into the pit lane. Drobble, of course, the first car around. Again, we're seeing that driver going first, and then the second driver will come out of the pit lane, sort of about the point where Drobble reaches the Sector 3 mark, or that goes for... Anyway, Quabauda says £200 for a logo on stream, by the way. That's gone up. Inflation is moving.
That's gone up by 200%. Wow. Yeah. Well, if you want your logo on stream, guys, 200 quid. That's
We're running out
exactly
of room.
what I paid.
We've got too much going on.
I didn't know I'd take up so much room.
We've got Discord, Twitter, X, Twitch. We've got the new followers in the bottom right. We've got the moving thing at the bottom. If you want your logo in the centre where the cars are and the onboards, then that'd cost a fortune. Nico, only QBR driver. That's yeah, that does bring back some memories, doesn't it? Star, by the way, in the live chat, engineering for BRT tonight. What a role he has, by the way, for the drivers currently sitting 3rd and 6th, and overall 3rd in the championship. Now, we spoke about how good they were last season. They're 5 points better off, actually, than at this stage last season. So it's a team that's only getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gabor has really come into his own this game. Obviously not driving tonight, but our winner last week with that beautiful double overtake in the last sector of Australia, which was just incredible to see. And the commentating was perfect. But yeah, less about BRT because Drobel is on a lap and he's getting a tow from Liam Bowman, who looks like he's absolutely nailed it on the run up to Cops. I guess this is where the tow's going to take place. I'm completely mistaken. I thought it'd be up the hanger straight. But yeah, Liam's going to do it all the way through Cops. So this is absolutely beautiful from MVR. He uses all the track on exit. Liam's going to duck out the way. That is very well done, and I didn't actually expect that at all. So it shows how much I know, but Drobel absolutely nailing Magnussen Beckett's using all the exit curb, and now coming onto the hanger straight.
Absolutely. I'm really quite surprised by the choice to go from Luffield to Maggots for a slipstream. He actually picked up a little bit of understeering Cops thanks to the dirty air and the excess speed that he was carrying. So he's done a good job to keep this one valid, but for Drobel, the Danish driver gets a little bit hesitant into the second part of Vale, but rounds the final corner and goes onto the front row. Provisionally, it's an NVR front row lockout. They just continue to excel, but David, almost 800ths up at the moment. They've not gone for the slipstream in towards Maggots. Instead, they'll go down the hanger straight. PSR Nick 27-0 in the first sector. He's purple at the moment. Elite Risks has just got up into 3rd. We've got some cars finishing their laps at the moment. Bobbitt's starting his. Sam has just finished and got up into P10. A really good effort by him. Further down, we've got Sasha Andre next to cross the line. The Romanian driver, what can he put in here? He goes only up 1 position to 15th.
Yep, PSR Nick tried to get the exact same tow that we just saw Drobel get from Liam Bowman, and he's actually spun. So it doesn't matter that Placky didn't do the tow perfectly. Nick has spun on the exit of Beckett's.
Whoa.
As FRT David, I believe it is, goes P1. I've never heard of this guy, but he's putting in some absolutely stonking laps, and he's on provisional pole.
It is Risks, if you didn't know. That's a formal name change, but you might not have known him either. But anyway, he's quite good.
Yes.
He's quite good, especially around here. Hence why he's racing. PSR Nick, as you can see there, confirmation of his spin. He stays out on track, of course, to be able to give the slipstream to Placky. We've got a Williams, I believe, coming through. It's ESV Bobbitt's at the moment. Liam Bowman, I think, a little bit further on in his lap, and he's 1.5 tenths up at the moment. Some of you probably screaming, watch him, watch him. We are watching him now, and he might just improve on his lap that was originally good enough for provisional pole. That's an even better one. By 1/10 of a second, he's back on top.
Yeah, brilliant lap from Liam, and Drobel actually lost 1.2 tenths on his best lap, so it should be an MVR 1-2 if he didn't make that mistake. So MVR really got the pace, and as we saw, Nick had a big spin as Bobbitt goes into P4, but yeah, Nick had a big spin, and PSR once again on the back foot heading into this race, so they're going to have to work very hard to get anywhere near a 24.7 this session.
Yeah, absolutely. A really, really tough time to beat at the moment. ESV Bobbitt's, by the way, still up there in P4. He didn't like me calling him old last time, so I'll refrain from such horrible, horrible language. But there's been a little bit of a misjudgment potentially in that slipstream from PSR. Placky only getting the benefit down in towards Cop's Corner, whereas Drobel and Liam Bowman were able to extend that in towards Maggots and Beckett's, where he is now. Maggots actually named after the Maggots Moorfield, just a little way away from this circuit. Every corner steeped in history around this famous motorsport circuit, dating back, yeah, quite a few years. A lot longer than Bobbitt's.
Just.
Just
joking.
Oh dear. Placky, round of the final corner. It's good enough.
Oh, wow.
For the front row by 0.003 of a second. I was doubting their toe, but Placky has just put in one of the neatest laps you'll ever see. Well, that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, I'm aware, but took me by surprise.
Yeah, I didn't actually expect that. I saw he was a 10th up on a 25-2 in the middle sector, but he must have had an absolutely incredible final sector because he's onto the front row, just 3,000th ahead of FRT David. I think it's David, right? That's not just a typo or whatever.
It's
I'll
David.
make sure of that.
He's Polish.
David, okay. Polish, right. David, not David. That's just my Brexit coming out. Drobel once again, the first car out. FRT down coming into the pit. So, yep, that has all calmed down. And, yep, we've got a bit of filler for the moment.
We do have a bit of filler. It's that sort of time again. Obviously, short lap times, long circuit, only 3 runs desirable for these drivers. Apparently, Bowman's got a lazy eye, which I never knew about.
It's incredible.
Does he wear an eye patch? Because if so...
I don't think that's what happens, Joseph.
No, I've seen people with lazy eyes wear an eye patch. They just feel like
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, well. I respect it if he does.
Yeah,
One eye on pole.
I don't think he does.
No. I kind of hope he
Okay.
does.
Pretty sure he does. I don't know whether that's for the eye patch or the lazy eye, but either way, we'll let him confirm that. Post-race interview tonight, we'll just ask him about his eyes.
Yeah.
That's not weird at all,
That's
is it?
class. No. It's AEC. Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Maybe not anything, but
That's a
you know.
pretty bad precedent to say anything goes.
Yes, that is true. I'm going to lose my job. So I'll go out with a bang tonight.
It's alright, Harv commentated the mini-series around here in Silverstone. As brilliant as he was, you know, he's a quiet lad, isn't he? So anything
I
really
haven't
does
actually
go.
heard half speak.
Anyway, Drobble, once
Yes.
again, taking centre stage as he's out on his final flying lap first. He'll evade all of the traffic, those that are going to come out of the pit lane in a very short moment. 2 minutes left on the clock, actually. They've got to speed up. They don't want to be tripping over each other in the final sector. Rounded the loop. The reason for that name is because it loops round onto the next corner. They were quite
Thrilling.
creative when thinking of that one. But Brooklands, which is up next, is named after the commemoration of the first ever purpose-built motor racing circuit in Surrey, I do believe. So that's a nice one. Here comes the slipstream imminently. Drobble has found time in the first sector. Can he find any more from this slipstream? Once again, perfectly timed. Both will go flat out through Copse at a very similar speed, topping at around 200 miles an hour, scrubbing off about 18 through the apex of Copse Corner. Now Liam Bowman will dart out of the way, leaving Drobble a clear track for the foreseeable to try and improve on this lap at the moment. He made that mistake in the final sector last time. How's he looking 2 sectors in? He's a 10th up at the moment. There's time to be found in sector 3. Drobble has the opportunity here to reinstate an NVR front row lockout into Stowe Corner. Gone through many modifications over the years. Still as stunning as ever, however. And into the Vale chicane he goes now. I'd say a lot better this time. But just how good is this lap? Drobble up to the line. Drobble quickest by a 10th.
Yeah, what a lap. The toe was perfect. No understeer through Copse this time around. And the final sector was so much better. And he's on pole. And it's an MVR 1-2. And now Canley and Bowman improve his time even more. BRT, crucially, just a pointer. They've gone out just behind one another. So no toes for BRT. So it's a PSR versus MVR versus, you'd have to say, David. He's right up in the mix as well. We've got Elite Risks actually getting the toe right now. Has a bit of lag on my screen. Not sure what happened there. But, oh yeah, I'm lagging. Hello?
Hello? Are you alive?
Okay, well, Elite Risks just cut the grass completely for me. So that was a bit odd. But he's coming around to the final corner now. And he's left the session.
Not surprised at all, yeah, to see Elite Risks. I did manage to catch some of that lag, but I was trying to keep tabs on David, who stays in 4th at the moment. The Polish driver has to wait to see what everybody around him does. Checkered flag has fallen. PSR Placky, he didn't make it. They've crashed going into the pit lane. So something's happened there with PSR Placky, and his 3rd place is looking in slight jeopardy as well. BRT Lou, 200ths down in the first sector. That's not a bad effort so far. He can work with that. But Liam Bowman, oh my word, he's almost 2/10ths up at this point. This could be lap of the season. He's had some pretty hideous luck when starting for pole. Took his maiden pole in both WR Tier 1 and the Legacy Division in the last 6 days. But Liam Bowman looks to get his 2nd of the AEC Tier S season as he rounds the final corner now. It's an NVR 1-2, but it's Liam Bowman back on pole position. A fantastic lap time, getting into the 24.5s, which is so desirable for any driver. Lou has lost time. He's backed out of his lap, and off into the gravel goes Bobberts when his lap was looking good as well, as we won't see too many changes late on. Passy dives into the pit lane. We await Dan, who's a 10th down, Sam as well, and ETE Andrea.
Yeah, David unfortunately messed up his first sector. BRT Lou went wide at the exit of Beckett's, and Bobberts had a spin himself. So that will be your final order. Liam Bowman on pole from his teammate Drobble. What a qualifying from them two. And they absolutely nailed the slipstreams. They've clearly been practicing it. And they just outperformed PSR. PSR only good enough for the second row. As the standings show, it's perfectly fitting. David getting into 5th on the 3rd row with BRT Lou. Then we've got an all Shazoo full throw. Passy P9 after such promise at the start of the session. Can't get any higher. And unfortunately a bit disappointing from Parnell. Only 10th and 14th. But a very exciting qualifying session indeed.
Team Silverstone locking out the front row. Of course, their new factory being built just about a mile away from the circuit entrance. It's Team Brackley on row 2. Just about 10 miles down the road from this circuit. And it's also the team first in the championship locking out the front row, the team second in the championship locking out the second row. Yes, I know that's obvious, but that just makes this race a whole lot more fascinating. Nath, who knows NVR inside out, of course, says it's the team's first ever qualifying 1-2.
It's a very good fact. Well done to MVR, fully deserved. They nailed the toes and that they're rewarded with absolute perfection. 1-2 for MVR. PSR, as you said, 3-4. And it's fitting because that is exactly the championship order. And PSR are going to have to get ahead of MVR early because 2 cars ahead of 2 PSR cars are going to be very hard to fight against strategy-wise.
Absolutely. Placky, by the way, didn't use any tyres according to
I've got
our in-game graphics. So
very impressive.
He just qualified on, I don't know, just
he went for
rubber.
a jog.
He did. It's good pace to run it that quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the order. Let's scroll down. Just to wrap it up, it's obviously TTM locking out the back row thanks to that double qualifying ban. Work to do for them. Race focus setup, you'd assume. But a very fascinating order indeed. Let's have one more run through of the famous intro. Welcome back then to Silverstone, ladies and gentlemen. It's round 4 of the Artemis Esports Championship. And if you did miss qualifying, where have you been? As we are about to get racing once again. That was a very quick one indeed. All 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and they're out, and we're underway. And just like that, from the intro, we are away and racing as Liam Bowman does keep the lead going into the first corner. But Nick is keeping Drobble on his toes. They bang coming through turn number 2 at Farm into turn 3, which is Village. Drobble has a really slow apex. I think he actually made a little bit of contact there with PSR Nick, and just like that, PSR have split NVR. But PSR Nick looking really racy already, and from 3rd on the grid, he could take the lead by the time we get into turn 6, which is Brooklyn's, and he does. A fantastic start from the German.
Yeah, he absolutely flew down that straight, right past Liam Bowman on the outside. So PSR possibly running much lower wings, which would explain why they didn't quite have the pace over NVR in qualifying. Not sure what happened to Drobble, maybe slight damage from that contact with Nick at the start. Really fell back in Sector 1, and he's still losing time. So possible damage for Drobble. We'll have to get someone in NVR to confirm that. But very interesting start, and it was an NVR 1-2 and a PSR 3-4, and now it's PSR 1, PSR 3 with Placky on the back of Liam Bowman.
I love this because PSR have gone for soft tyres. They're going outright for the track position early on. They are not hanging about, by the way, as Placky is also almost immediately on the back of Liam Bowman, who's had to burn to try and keep within close proximity of Nick, because if he gets away, there could be serious problems later on. We've lost Sam on the opening lap to a spin, and Sasha Andre from the main pack at least anyway. PR Amin and Josh Gilly going side by side. Zinity and Josh Gilly up 4 and 5 and 5 and 5 positions, 5 and 3 positions respectively. I can't even do maths as PSR Placky has got ahead. He's trying to edge out Liam Bowman there, almost forcing him onto the rumble strip there. As here comes Liam Bowman still side by side. They've lost touch to PSR Nick out in front, but Liam Bowman still trying to cling on to the track position. He can do no more against those soft rubber, and he's down into P3. A rapid turnaround.
Yeah, and crucially, both cars stopped burning there, and Placky was still pulling away. So then PSR wings are definitely lower than MVR. PR Lucas and FRT Dan both up 3 positions in 7th and 8th, so honourable mention for them. But Shazoo started 7th and 8th, and they're down to 10th and 11th, so not a strong start for the Shazoo boys, but they're hanging onto the train. As look at Nick, he's absolutely gone 1.5 seconds up the road with the most DRS of the top 3, and he's looking to make a statement on them soft tyres.
On board with FRT Dan, who finished 8th here in the mini-series, could be going to try and better that this evening with a move on PR Lucas at Stowe Corner. Lucas goes in tight to the inside and thus keeps the position, but FRT Dan is not hanging about either. He's used the battery to potentially go around the outside of Vale. The other Honda-powered team shuts the door though, and he's unable to make the move. It's a fastest lap, unsurprisingly, for PSR Nick as he builds a 2-second lead here. But Placky unable to get away from Bowman for the time being, and the DRS being enabled won't help his chances too much either.
No, and here we go, the first DRS zone so early in the lap in the first sector. Will Liam push? Yes, he is. He knows he has to get a wedge in between the 2 PSR cars. Placky defends, but Liam has turned the battery off. Will he send it up the inside? You bet he will. It's only lap 3, but do you think it's the final lap? Liam up the inside, slide contact with the rear, and Placky's round. Liam tags Placky, and Placky drops all the way down the field on them soft tyres, and the strategy that PSR were going for is going to be completely mudded because Placky is now 16th place.
It's one of those old dear moments where you don't quite know what to say in the hope that you don't upset anybody, because when the 2 leading teams in the championship collide like that, you know the reaction is going to be spectacular, and PSR Placky's consequence is that he's down into P17. Not that he deserved a consequence. Liam Bowman and PSR Placky making contact at turn 6. Nick, that does help him a little bit. Up now, the gap 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps Nick in the short term, but in the long term, he's not going to have that buffer to defend. Well, I assume Placky was out there just to defend, so Nick could get the win. But now Placky down to 17th. Not sure if he has any damage, but he looks like he is staying out, so he is still in the race. But yeah, that's one for the stewards. The chat is going quite ballistic.
Oh,
and,
no.
Expect so, as what's happened here.
Oh dear, it's another collision here. TriRT versus TTM Zinity through turn 2. TriRT was off the track. He was trying to rejoin it. He did deserve a little bit more room there, but tempers flaring already, and it's only lap 4 of 26. It could well be a very long night, but again, just another really bit of clumsy racecraft there.
Yeah, it seems like every time we commentate AEC together, Joseph, it all kicks off. But I mean, that's part of the fun, I guess, part of the game. And just got to accept it. We've got a yellow flag. I think that is a Red Bull, and that is a mean for the second race in a row, really struggling. And it's unfortunate to see he's going to drop right to the back behind Sasha Andre. And it's P20 for Amin. Parnell really not having the start to this season that they were hoping for.
Absolutely. PR Amin, obviously on a no force feedback wheel still to this day. It is hard. It is really hard to be consistent on one of those things because you don't really know where the limit of grip is at all. It looked like he spun it on his own accord, exiting Luffield. Lap 4 of 26, Nick's advantage now up to 3.3 seconds. That was slightly wide for Drobble as he almost clips the back of his teammate. That's not what they want down at NVR. They might already have a driver in trouble. They don't want the other one taking out the aforementioned driver in trouble. That would be very much race ending if that was to happen. Rule number 1, well and truly broken. BRT Lou and FRT David for their respective teams still in the hunt as well for a podium position. PR Lucas, who's had some brilliant races this season, you have to say, especially in China, where he defended with all his might. He has done so already on FRT Dan. Most of this train has inherited a place.
Yeah, I think MVR maybe possibly struggling a bit because as we saw on the stream, yeah, Drobel went very deep into the penultimate corner for no real reason. His teammate was ahead, there was no threat from behind, and now there is a threat from behind because BRT Lou is 2 tenths behind, 1 tenth behind, heading up to Cops. If he can stay close enough through Cops, that's interesting, isn't it? PSR Nick 3-second time penalty on lap 5, so that's a twist in the story because, yeah, PSR is just all going wrong. Maybe through their fault, no fault of their own for the first one. And this one looks like to be Nick's fault.
Oh dear. Well, last night was headlines when Sam Gamer got away on the intermediate tyres, picked up 6 seconds worth of penalties in the space of a few laps. And that could have really lost him the race if everybody behind him didn't start battling. Completely oblivious to the penalty. There was grounds to appeal, they said anyway, but less of worlds. I know that about 200 of you enjoyed that last night. I'm glad you did. But the here and now is AEC Tier S, and there's another penalty drama situation to come here. BRT Lou still looking really racy, on board with the Alfa Romeo driver from Bunker Racing Team, sporting the colours as always. And will he go for the move? No, he's still maintaining that charge for FRT David. He's not interested in the slipstream, which Lou is trying to break, or otherwise just keep behind Drobel.
Yeah, smart driving from Lou. He made Drobel burn just an extra 5%, and Lou's sitting pretty on 100%, full battery, and now he's going to start to use a bit to keep in touch with the 2 MVR cars. BRT Lou, you'd have to say, does look very quick, maybe quicker than Drobel, so it will all be about strategy because this track, it's all about strategy. It's all about collisions, as we've seen already this race, but BRT Lou dropping back, just saving the battery for now, so no real battles going on as of yet.
Absolutely, still just in that early phase. 18 drivers on the hard tyres, 2 drivers on the soft tyres. One of them has been sent into a neighbouring county. Take your pick. We've got Buckinghamshire, we've got Leicestershire. I like that one. Sent in there.
Yes, but not for the right reasons, unfortunately. Doing a little pirouette at Luffield. FRT Dan, by the way, looking very racy. He's pushing Lucas through the final corner, and now Lucas is burning all that battery to try and get away. And Passy just behind, sitting once again. The BRT management is very good because they're both on 100%, as he did just run wide and pick up a warning. But he's looking very close to Dan. Will he send up the inside? No, happy to sit behind. But it's only a matter of time before one of these guys go for a move because they're so close. There's so much battery to be used. FRT Dan using, and Passy's burning. He's burning at the exit, but he's just happy to sit behind. Just want an overtake, guys. Come on.
Absolutely. You mentioned the BRT management, like I mentioned earlier. Shout out to Star, who's in charge of the engineering tonight. I know he was looking forward to it. He's doing a good job so far. I know engineers have to watch the stream often. They don't have much choice, so they end up listening to us. So shout out to all the engineers tonight because you do a pretty challenging job when it comes to keeping your drivers calm in these high pressure situations.
Yeah, the unsung heroes of esports teams, you'd have to say. Passy, though, right on the back of Dan, and he sees an opportunity. He's got 60% more. He's burning, and they're both going to have to go past Lucas. He goes to the inside this, Dan. He's going to have to send it up the inside. Lucas is flashing. Dan into P6, blocks the exit off nicely. Lucas going for the switchback, has a bit of a moment. Will this open the door for Passy? No, it doesn't. He had a look, but didn't decide to commit as Lucas brakes very late. Will he go around the inside? Will he go for the switchback? No, just sits behind as Dan has a snap on my screen. Think a bit of lag there, but Passy looking very racy here.
Yeah, Passy using his endurance racecraft at the moment as Lucas runs wide again. There is an opportunity for the German, but when will he make the move? Again, no opportunity going down in towards Village, which pays homage, of course, to the Village right next to Silverstone Circuit. And oh, this is some lag between Andrea and Halo at the moment. As through turn number 5, they go on to Aintree and then the Wellington straight. Still side by side momentarily. Halo back into the slipstream, looking to turn it into the outside lines. They race past the BRDC clubhouse. All the rich people standing up there are admiring a great battle at the moment, and Andrea holds it around the outside once again. Some clean racing in the end, even if it doesn't quite look like it due to the lag situation at the moment. And look who's trying to get involved. TTM Zinity now. It's down the inside into Cop's corner. Brilliant move, you have to say. He had to make it forceful, but he did make it clean, and Josh Gilly is able to follow him through. TTM, 2 cars in the points.
Yeah, Halo had to back out just to avoid getting squeezed wide. That opened the door for Josh Gilly, and TTM making swift progress up to 12th and 13th from the back row respectively. So very strong as here comes Passy. He goes for the move on Lucas, and you know what? He's unfortunately just lost out. Lucas keeps it on the inside. Bobbitt's having a bit of a moment there. Saw him quite wide. But yeah, Lucas does he tap the back of him there? Now Passy's going to go around the outside. He's given a bit of room. Here comes Bobbitt up the inside of Passy. Passy's gone from attacking Lucas to having to look behind him. And the car that was behind him is now ahead of him. And Bobbitt is looking racy. He's got battery in the tank. And now he's going to be the one to put the pressure onto Lucas.
Oh, Andrea rejoins the circuit. He had no choice but to try and do it, and he does so just in front of Halo. That was Hamilton-esque onto the Hamilton straight from ESV Bobbitt. He's up now into P8 Passy. Maybe just wishing he was a tiny bit more aggressive in that sequence, but the main thing is he's still got a front wing. He is still alive and kicking in this race. We've had fairly few front wings actually fall off the cars, as nobody's been into the pit stops yet. Bobbitt, though, continues to march on. As the 2 drivers that finished 3rd and 4th respectively in China. It was Bobbitt ahead on that occasion. This time he's behind and looking to make the move once again into Cop's corner. Then no move for the time being. It's FRT Dan leading this train. He's got a 2.3 second buffer to his teammate. Can maybe secure David a really top result here if this continues to go the way that it is.
Yeah, and Bobbitt's now burning. He's on the battery, but Lucas has the DRS and the slipstream on the car ahead, but no moves to be made. So Bobbitt's happy to sit behind for now. No overtakes at the moment, but look how close they are. Nose to tail coming into the final section of the track. They've lost sight of the top 5. Lucas goes deep for the 3rd lap in a row. Will Bobbitt sense an opportunity just like he did last lap? No, he doesn't, but he's looking feisty. Lucas has a moment, and Bobbitt's, he's going to be looking hungry. And will he go for a move into the famous turn 3 where you could send it up the inside? You could send it around the outside. What does Bobbitt decide to do? He decides to sit behind. The old wise head of Bobbitt.
You say he's hungry, but that race is in 2 weeks' time. I don't know why. No, I'll stop. I'll stop. No,
we were doing so well.
We were doing well. I've not made any Scotland jokes yet. He's in 3rd at the moment, which that number accurately represents the amount of goals that England put past Scotland last night.
I love it.
Oh, hello. Hello,
yeah,
hello.
Bobbitt's up the inside of Lucas as we joke about Scotland, and now they're going to go side by side up to Cops, but Lucas using the battery to stay ahead once again.
This is the most Brexit battle you can get on this grid. FRT Dan in 6th, by the way. The second best thing to come from the West Midlands since Jude Bellingham. That's the one.
Yeah, very similar people, FRT Dan and Jude Bellingham.
Both wonderful.
Yeah, but FRT Dan has just gone wide, and we might see a double overtake for Bobbitt. He goes to the outside. Will Lucas go to the inside? No, he goes to the outside as well. And they're going to go 3 wide into Stowe. Bobbitt takes the racing line and takes 2 positions in 1 corner. Beautiful stuff from the Shazoo driver.
Oh, that was brilliant between the 3 of them. FRT Dan actually quite fortunate there not to lose 2 places. Still in a good position. Nevertheless, Liam Bowman back up to 2nd. He took the joke personally and felt like 2nd was now the place to be. Placky is already in. He's going for a big undercut here. He has to. He's not making any more progress now since that contact with Liam Bowman. And he'll jump on to a set of medium tyres until the end of this race. It's bold, but he's got to do something.
Yeah, obviously starting on them soft tyres, so he was naturally going to come in earlier than most, and we'll probably see Nick in very soon. But his pace hasn't dropped off. He's holding that gap around 3.7 seconds, and obviously with that penalty, he's only 6/10 ahead of Liam come at the end of the race. But Liam now deciding now's the time. He's closing in. He's closed in 3/10 on this lap alone, so we might see Nick in this lap. But look at this train from P6 downwards. all the way from Bobberts to Halo. And the TTM boys, I was just on board with them for this lap. They're looking quick. Zinity, P11, Josh Gilly, P12, going up the order together. And I think they're my one to watch for the second phase of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Such great teamwork all season long, actually, from TTM, except Australia qualifying. No engineering, just vibes
Yes.
on that occasion. But it's the races where points are scored. It's the race where they're scoring some more points at the moment. They're in a close-knit battle with FGE, just 1 point between them in the race for P5. FRT, 12 points behind TTM. They're scoring well at the moment as well. PSR Nick is into the pit lane. He is also going to go for a set of medium tyres here. This undercut should help him to extend his advantage. But again, it's not clear-cut at the moment. Will he lose time towards the back end of the race?
Yeah, Halo in P15. He's also following the PSR strategy of pitting slightly early to jump this whole train. Because as we just mentioned, he was the final bit of this train. So if he can get a lovely undercut, that could jump him all the way up to P6 come the end of the pit stop phase. But yeah, it's all going to be about the MVR pace up front. Liam has burnt down to 30%, Drobel at 70%. So they're looking to push, and they're going to have to pit, I'd have to say, in the next 2-3 laps. Not if I don't want to sound too bad. I'm very clueless in the strategy game. But I think it'll be soon. Very soon indeed.
Me and you both, I think.
Yes.
Considering
commentators.
mediums, they think they can go from here. So surely any lap now, they'll be ready to make their pit stops. I mean, that's quite obvious. Somebody's brave to do the majority of the race on a set of mediums anyway, but Silverstone a little bit unique in that whatever tyres you use, they are going to degrade because it is such a high-speed circuit. So why not go for that medium compound? It's an NVR 1-2. It's exactly how these two started at the moment. They lost the positions off the start because they went for the hards when PSR went for the softs and into the pit lane.
Oh,
Bowman speeds!
no!
Bowman speeds! That's a huge moment as he's already got a penalty looming large potentially. There's another one for certain. 5 seconds added.
Yeah, not a bit of a scrappy race from Liam as we were saying how well he's done so far this season. And he's had an incident with Placky. He's got a 5-second penalty for speeding. He didn't need to speed. There was a comfortable gap to Nick ahead. He wasn't going to jump him, and he's definitely not going to now because he's got a 5-second that can't be removed. And if there's a safety car towards the end of the race, Liam Bowman will not be scoring any points. But let's keep an eye on where he comes out in reference to PSR Nick, who does have a penalty himself. But look at the power of that undercut. He's 4 seconds ahead as he come out the pits. Maybe that will extend as Liam gets up to temperature. And yes, it will. 4.1, 4.2. It's going to keep climbing as we go through the first sector.
Bowman, a driver who has been really aggressive with his pit stop entrances in NRC the other night. He was very, very late, and it was actually complimented in the live chat because of just how good his pit entrance was. I'm not sure I've ever seen pit entrances be complimented before, but, you know, this time it can be heavily criticised. FRT David, 2.4 behind Liam Bowman. He also made that slightly earlier pit stop, so could be up against Drobble here, potentially, for the lead of this race. And I think BRT Lou, if I can find him on our screens, there he is on the back of Drobble. Both of them coming into the pit lane, and a rear lock there for Drobble, almost sticking it into the wall, but manages to save it at a relatively low speed. FRT Dan speeding in the pit lane. Elite Risks speeding in the pit lane. You see others speed in the pit lane, so what do you go and do? Speed in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's not ideal at all for these drivers. And someone I just want to put a mention in for. I said Halo, if he goes for that one lap undercut, he'll jump to P6. Well, he's fighting Bobberts now. He was P14, and now he's fighting the guy that was in P6. So Halo, with a masterful strategy from FGE, he might have got himself in the mix for that P6. So we'll have to keep an eye on the cars who are pitting now. We've got Drobble, Lou, Dan, Elite Risks and Zinity all in the pits, and let's see where they come out. Drobble coming out the pit lane now with Lou closely followed, and he's got a 2-second gap behind Bowman, so that undercut is incredibly powerful as Lou and David are going to go side by side. David seems to have jumped Lou, and yes, he has. But Lou on the cold tyres won't be able to make a move, and he's going to have to save his battery behind David, or will he? Because he's burning, he's got the straight line speed. David defends to the inside, he's defending even more. Lou up the inside, going into Luffield, I believe this is, or Brooklands, one of the two. And David hangs it around the outside, and Lou can't make the position.
Sensational racing between BRT Lou and FRT David. David manages to hold on, still in the DRS of Drobble. This could be for P2 on track at the moment, because obviously Bowman with that 5-second time penalty, who knows how much PSR Nick I say will drop off by. He won't really drop off at all towards the end of the race unless his tyres get into a critical condition. Also a 3-second penalty to Nick, I may add. There are the penalties for you as Nick clears Sam as it stands at the moment. So it is very much a race on here, and so you can see why they were so desperate to change positions. Halo, Passy, Bobberts losing a couple of positions there once again. This racing is relentless.
Yeah, Halo and Passy just slipstreaming each other right past Bobberts. Bobberts losing 2 positions, and he has lower battery than both these cars. Josh Gilly going for a late stop. We've got a yellow flag. Who's had an incident? I believe that was SLR Nico or Elite Risks, one of the two, down in P19 and P20 respectively. But yeah, looks like Halo's actually got good pace, but Passy has even better pace, and he's going to go for the move as soon as he can because he's right up, tucked behind that Haas. And now gets a good exit out of turn 4. Big, a little moment for Halo. He's on the burners. DRS open. Will Halo defend it, or will he let Passy go right past? Will he defend to the inside? No, he doesn't. And Passy also doesn't go for the position. So smart driving from BRT. And as you've mentioned, Star on the engineering front. Maybe a part to play in that.
Caesar saying in the live chat, would love a safety car. We haven't had one since FRT Harv crashed out in Qatar. So we've got a long time without having a full caution. They're first and third at the moment as Nick just about carves his way through Amin, who's trying to hold it out there, understandably, for as long as he can. Lucas speeds in the fucking pit lane. Stop it! Slow the cars down.
Guys.
And respect the rules and regulations. It's not difficult. As David and Lou, you'll never guess what, they're side by side again, this time coming through Stowe for the first time in this race. And Lou gets ahead this time. David, no answer.
Yeah, strong lap from BRT as a team, to be honest, because Passy got past Halo, and now he's off into the distance. Zinity and Placky, by the way, side by side. Zinity on the fresher tyres by 3 laps, and he's going to hang it around the outside of the penultimate corner. Are we going to see the two go side by side through the fast turn 1? Zinity backs out. Smart driving from the TTM driver, but will he send out the inside of Placky? Oh, he's going for a late lunge. Does he make Placky jolt? No, he doesn't, and now has to set up the exit of turn 4. Right up behind Placky, and he's been hit. He's been hit by FRT Dan, and that's going to ruin his momentum up the straight. Bobberts right behind Halo as well, but Halo happy to sit there. So is Bobberts. But yeah, contact between Dan and Zinity there. Not sure if you caught that, but your controller's dead. So you definitely didn't. As Liam Bowman gets a 3-second penalty, and it's all going wrong for the end of the driver. He just can't seem to get it right.
Sorry about that. Technical issues. Yeah, that happened. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, where were we? My batteries aren't actually charging, so this could be...
Liam just got a 3-second penalty.
He did just get a 3-second penalty. I could be hospitalised for the remainder of this race, which might not be good. So let's hope that doesn't happen. I'll try and fix that. But BRT Lou is ahead now with Drobble and into Stowe Corner. This is what happens when you're late home all the time. You have things to do, and you don't think about charging batteries.
No. Yeah, you need a rechargeable, Joseph.
I do have them, but obviously I'm trying not to set my house on fire.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if I do, that's quite expensive.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, that is very true. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Back to the race. Let's hope Joseph doesn't burn his house down. But Nick, P1 with a penalty. Liam with 8 seconds worth of penalties. And that gap behind, I think Lou actually got past Trouble. Yeah, we did catch that. So, no, we didn't actually. We definitely didn't catch that. Yeah, Lou up to net P3 ahead of Drobble. That must have happened when your controller died, and my brain clearly died because I completely missed that. So, Lou, very strong race for BRT at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Lou again, overtaking Sasha Andre. And again, a net P2 pretty much in the bag at the moment. Liam Bowman, 8 seconds of penalties. And like we said, that might not be all that comes his way. Placky, that was quite a good undercut, by the way, up into P11. But the tyre difference in that pack, 3 laps fresher tyres that Zinity has over him at the moment. Drobble now trying to clear Sasha Andre, penalty free as well. And as we say that, Lou has overtaken Triarty, who is still yet to come into the pit lane. David also clearing the Romanian driver going into the next corner. Treyarch might have wanted to come into the pit lane there. Drobble was on his inside. David goes for it as well. That is a late lunge, but he manages to make it stick. That is a desperate one, but a clean one.
Yeah, also while that was going on, Zinity made a beautiful move on Placky as Bobbert has had a big moment. He's in the gravel out of the penultimate corner, and that's going to ruin all his progress. He's down to P15, just in front of his teammate Elite Risks. I'm not actually sure what happened there. Possible collision with, I believe he was battling with Halo there. So very unfortunate for Bobberts. We'll have to see if he complains about something after. But yeah, Zinity getting past Placky, and Dan sent it up the inside into the third final corner. Not quite sure what that's called. It's not club. It might be. Who knows? But yeah, Zinity up to P10 and a net P8 from the back of the grid.
Oh, Josh Gilly, that's a tight one on PR Lucas around the outside. He'll try and turn it into a cutback. Unable to at Brooklands. Opportunity into Luffield. No can do, I'm afraid, for Josh Gilly. But again, penalty situation looking quite favourable. We'll gain at least 2 positions at the moment. Elite Risks, another driver who sped into the pit lane and has a 3-second time penalty on top of it. As we see the hard runners now that have still yet to come into the pit lane. This surely means they'll both jump onto a set of softs and see what they can do, but you lose so much time in the pit lane. I just don't see why I'd go for a conventional strategy. I get it, there is always an opportunity of a safety car, and everybody will jump onto a set of soft tyres that way, but it's just too much to gain in normal conditions.
Yeah, I think both these drivers not really much to lose, and they were holding out for a safety car. But yeah, Sasha Andre has pulled the trigger, and he's decided to bail out of that strategy. But FGE, Treyarch staying out. He really, really wants that safety car because he knows if a safety car comes out, everyone is going to have to pit. And that P6 he's got now will be legitimate. So yeah, let's see how that works out for FG Treyarch. But he's holding up Passy, and I was about to give an honourable mention to Zinity, who I seem to keep talking about because he just keeps overtaking people. He got past Halo that last lap, and now Passy's being held up by Treyarch. Will Zinity decide to go for the move? Passy is pushed to the right, and Zinity, he's going to go for a double move, nearly on the grass, side by side, 3 wide into Brooklands, and he doesn't get the move done, but Passy does, round the outside of the FGE driver, and Zinity, he wants to get a move on. He's going to hang it round the outside of the Luffield. Can he do it?
Yeah.
Yes, he can. The tyre difference is beautiful, and now he sets his sight on Passy for P6 from the back of the grid. So incredible stuff from the TTM driver.
Really big bollocks, not Bobberts. TTM Zinity, however, was still under pressure from him, and he's trying to race him. He gets back in front momentarily, but the grip around the outside, he then loses the car for a second time. It was a great move initially by Zinity. They kept going at it, wheel to wheel, and eventually it ends in tears. One of the risks of the strategy, if you do decide to hang it in there for too long, then you can always end up in that situation. Placky and Halo going side by side, contact between one Haas as the other one manages to steer clear at the moment. Almost running into the back there of Placky. FRT Dan has to take the pain, being hit there on the outsides. As on they go for the 20th time into turn 1, Abbey corner, named after the nearby Luffield Abbey, which is ironically where Luffield's, that corner name, also comes from.
Yeah. Not sure about that incident. I'd probably put that down to a racing incident, but we'll see what the stewards say. It was just a bit unfortunate for the FGE driver. But yeah, something we also missed, by the way, Drobble back ahead of BRT Lou. So MVR have that roadblock now where Lou, who was possibly in a position to win the race with the penalties, is now going to have his progress halted by the 2 MVR cars ahead. So definitely a battle to keep an eye on.
Yeah, thanks for being my radio once again.
I missed it as well, don't worry. I completely missed it.
Oh dear, well, they're all alive still.
Oh, shouldn't have said that, Joseph.
Shouldn't
That's
have said
a risky
that.
one.
That is a risky game to play in this situation. Can we play bingo on how long my my next battery will last for as
2 laps.
Drobble gets past Liam Bowman once again? That gap is close. 3.5 seconds, 2-lap tyre advantage. Do I dare say Drobble makes it 3 and 4 for NVR?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the same ERS as Nick, so no advantages in the energy front. So it's all going to be down to if he can nail every lap. He's got 6 laps of the race left, and they have to be qualifying S laps to gain that 7 tenths on PSR Nick, who we know is no slouch. He started on the softs. He's gapped everyone by 4 seconds, and he's holding that gap. just around 3.6, so very solid for PSR Nick. But yeah, Drobble not had a good start to this lap. He's lost 3/10 already, and he's trying to make up for that by burning his ERS, because Liam Bowman is right behind him. Obviously, they're on the same team, but if they have to switch, it's probably going to lose them a bit more time.
Look at this again, Lucas and Dan leave each other alone for a minute, please, side by side through Aintree, and again down in towards Brooklyn's corner. FRT Dan on the outside, will he hold it? No, Lucas has that 2-lap tyre advantage, both with speeding penalties as well, so this is still a race for position, despite the black and white penalty flags next to their name, as we are being told, watch Nick, praise Lou, etc, etc. We can't praise everybody, but BRT Lou is in desperate need of recognition. BRT are in desperate need of recognition because once again they have masterminded a 4-6 at the moment.
Yeah, again, just picking up them consistent points, but crucially, they're getting outscored by MVR and PSR, so really just solidifying their P3, not quite making a challenge for the title or P2, respectively. As Zinity gets past Passy down the inside. Where is Passy? Passy's dropped back quite a lot because he's in the clutches of Placky, and, oh, that's right, because they're all side by side, because Placky's got on both. He's right up beside Zinity, pushes him wide. Will Passy got the inside of Zinity? No, he decides to sit back. Completely missed that, couldn't see that Placky was right in front of me. So Placky up to P6 on the much older tyres. Very strong stint from Placky, and Zinity is flashing, so it's going to be a big task to get back ahead.
He is flashing, so it does mean he is going to start derating down the straights. Here's one, the Wellington straight in towards Brooklands, and once again expecting a battle to occur here. PSR Placky has done a really good job considering he was down in P17 to recover to P6 at the moment, but that's quickly snatched back by TTM Zinity. We've got a yellow flag, that's for a spin for Sasha Andre. Usually we see even a front wing dislodged, causing a safety car, so lucky again there to potentially get away with one. Still battling in this mid-pack, but for some really significant points at the moment. TTM Zinity, remember, a P6 scores you 14 points, so that's not something to be frowned upon.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Shazoo having a bit of a stinker of a race, if I can not be professional for a second, 13th and 14th with that penalty for elite risks. I'm not sure if the points are in the top 12 or top 14, can't quite remember. But yeah, TTM outscoring Shazoo quite massively here, and they are the championship rivals, 44 points to TTM's 37. So very strong so far from Zinity.
Absolutely, and again, Josh Gilly down the outside, actually, of ESV Bobberts, as he has the inside going into Club Corner, past the Silverstone Wing and the new hotel complex on the left-hand side, lined, of course, with fans. And Josh Gilly having to stay behind ESV Bobberts for the time being. But here comes the run. There's the opening potentially going into Village. No switchback as Bobberts parks his car perfectly on that inside apex. Nose to tail for most of them, side by side for some of them, including Lucas and Halo. As through Aintree they go then underneath that road bridge which links the two different halves of the track together. And now still unable with Lucas to make a move, but there's the opening again as Halo runs in wide. Just a lot of mistakes going on. Oh, so trying to keep hold of the tyre grip that they have available to them, and we're just seeing just a lot more errors creeping in and the potential for a big crash.
Yeah, Halo, one of the people that gambled on the early pit stop, followed PSR Nick in. He's on 11 lap old mediums to Lucas's 7 laps. So the tyre and pace difference is incredible. As Drobble and Liam Bowman are side by side, they're switching. They're happy to switch. And now Liam Bowman's going to set off the Nick. But unfortunately, it's not going to matter with 8 seconds of penalties, which would currently drop him only to 5th, to be fair, with the cars behind battling quite a lot. But the battle really is in the midfield because they're all nose to tail. That's Elite Risk and Josh Gilly. They've had contact. Josh loses the rear on entry and he goes into the side of Elite Risks. Nothing Elite Risks did wrong there, to be completely honest. Just a racing incident. Mistake from Josh. And that's cost him another position to Nico, who sneaks through. Yeah,
absolutely. As it's hard to see just where this battle is going to end up come the end of the race. Zinity looks pretty comfortable in P6. Placky's got to do some work, really, on those 3-lap older tyres. It'll be another great result for TTM following the results that I mentioned. A 4th straight points finish for him. Not many drivers can boast that. Placky is another one that can because he's done all 4 races this season. Bowman, although he's won 2, didn't race in round 3 in Australia. So technically won't be going 4 in a row in terms of this season, but such is tournament racing that you will not be able to race every week. David in no man's land at the moment. P2, of course, in the mini-series will inherit P4 as it stands. So another brilliant job by the Polish driver as he can just bring it home.
Yeah, I just want to counter one of your points. You said Zinity was sitting comfortable. Yeah, but Placky's charging his battery. He's up to 40% compared to Zinity's 16, so a late charge from Placky. To be fair, completely missed it. We've got 2 laps left. So Placky looking for a late charge. Someone's going for a charge now. Lucas pushing Halo to the limiter of his ERS. And will he get a better exit? Yes, he will. Halo on them old tyres. Will Lucas send it to the inside? Halo defends.
Oh!
Lucas, what is he doing? He's punted Halo off. Very, very late move from Lucas. He tried to go for a late dive to the inside, and he's absolutely rear-ended Halo out of what would have been a beautiful finish for the FGE driver. And you'd have to say, not to be biased, but that was a terrible decision from the Parnell driver. And he's letting Halo back past. He knows what he's done. But that's no consolation for what we've just seen.
Sacked in the morning. You're getting sacked in the morning. Sacked in the morning. He might not. I don't think he will. It was quite a sackable offence. It's not. That was awful. That was really bad.
Yeah, Rick says in chat, Max Vettel moment. It was.
Yeah.
That was just a bit higher speed. And slightly
more on
dangerous.
Lucas.
Yes. But that just sums it up, doesn't it?
It sums it up.
That's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen on this game. Just straight-lined him. But yeah, we've got 2 laps left, Joseph. So we'll put that behind us. We've got battles to keep an eye on.
We're going to have 1 lap to go in a moment. It might be that my controller batteries go, but in which case, I apologise in advance, but I'm not going to take the risk now and just see what happens. This is interesting, isn't it? Liam Bowman, gap to Nick, exactly 3 seconds. Drobble needs to get nose tight to Liam Bowman to win this race. He needs to find all the speed in the world to take his first ever victory in AEC Tier S.
This is smart from MVR because if I was to guess, they're going to keep Drobel in DRS and slingshot him up the hanger straight and hope it gains enough time on Nick to gain the win. So very tactical from MVR, and this is what we love to see. I mean, the penalties, they'd rather have it decided on track, but unfortunately, we can't have it decided on track today. It's going to come down to penalties, and will Liam Bowman slingshot Drobel? He's 3.5 seconds behind on the gap to leader. All he needs is 5 attempts to go from P3 to P1. BRT Lou's also going to be interested because he knows if he gets Drobel and Liam, he has a chance of winning. Currently in P3 if it ended as it does, which is an incredible result for him anyway. But now we come up to Magnus and Beckett.
Nick Battery were being asked left, right and centre. Empty, 2%, 1% and down to nothing, but Drobble has just a little bit more, but will it be 3/10 more? He has DRS and Slipstream as well. This is going down to the wire. Is he within 3 seconds? Blue looking for the move as well. It's 2.9, it's 2.8. Hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. Nick needs the best final 2 corners of his life. Drobble equally. Who's going to win this race? It's the exit that's important. Nick wins on track. Drobble does it in AEC Tier S. Wow. Beautiful. It's another, although they've not done it on track, it's another victory at Silverstone by less than a 10. Big crash at the final corner. Oh, Zinity and Passy have dropped some big points there with contact at the final corner.
What?
Wow.
I can't believe it. The second week in a row where we have the race decided on the final lap. It wasn't side-by-side racing this time. It was down to a penalty. Nick's left the session. He's had enough. And Drobble gets his first AEC Tier S win with an incredible drive. And you have to say, a perfect strategy from MVR to make use of them penalties.
Wow. They've made the most of that. Drobble wins by 0.069 of a second. And to compare this to when we went to Silverstone in the mini-series, that was round 1. The race-winning gap was 0.021. So it was a lot closer on that occasion. But equally. Combine those two, and we're still less than a tenth, 0.09
Incredible.
in terms of race-winning margins at Silverstone. And AEC, no assists on F123. It's quite a mouthful, but it is well worth saying. Fist up! Team Silverstone have won. Team NVR have won. You know what that means as well? They've extended their leads at the top of the championship after the first part of the season. We then go on a run of... well, I'll put the calendar up for you just to confirm what we're up to. Obviously, it's a break week, and then we go on 5 races before the next break, and then 5 to end the season as well. So going into the first break in the season, as I mentioned, couldn't be in a better position.
That's exactly how you want to start a season if you are MVR. I believe they'll be 40 points clear now, ahead of the favourites coming into AEC TRS. So that's exactly what you want to see if you're MVR. But what a race, right down to the wire. This is what you get in AEC TRS every single week. And it's Trouble who wins. PSR Nick in P2. And the honourable mention, BRT Lou, didn't put a foot wrong. And he comes home just 7/10 off the lead in P3.
Yeah, I know people will be saying credit him, credit him. Credit has been granted. BRT, excellent as always. Nothing really to be faulted about their performance. David in P4 as well. I said I was going to say his surname. David Miodinski. I think I've said that right.
That sounded quite good, yeah.
He'll tell me after the race if I've nailed that one. Liam Bowman in P5. Could end up being worse. Placky could end up inheriting the position that he lost. ESV Bobbitt's in P7. Started there, finished there. Just an all-round sophisticated drive. Josh Gilly, Nico Zenti, Passy, Dan, Andrea, Riz, Halo. It's Riz rounding out the points. And then whoever was at the bottom. I was too busy dwelling on surnames and all that. But, ladies and gentlemen, if we go back to our main screen and conclude tonight's race, we've not really done interviews before. It's something I'd love to really get going.
Let's have it.
So I'll ask, any interviews, chaps? Because I think we should. I think we need to make the most of the fact that we're an Xbox tournament and we don't have to go through all the fuss.
Yeah, just an honourable mention as well for SLR Nico. He actually finished P9, just kept out of trouble on that last lap, and a lot of incidents at the end. And Joseph, I'm not sure if you've had a look, but there's some beef going on in TRS chat right now. So very interesting. PSR versus MVR. It's heating up and we're only at round 4.
Indeed. Nico, you mentioned he finished P10 last week. Again, coming through all of the late drama. And a P9 this week. He wants an interview. I'm happy to give him one. The former QBR driver, Forza Horizon 5 back in 2021. It seems like a very good opportunity to chat. So he's joined. We're going to have an interview for the first time ever with a P9 finisher. Let's do it. Nico, are you here?
I am indeed.
You are indeed. Well, another pretty entertaining race from your point of view. You're always in that midfield. You're always picking up points. And you're getting SLRT off the mark again.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't the greatest qualifying. It isn't my best track. But for the last 2 races now, just stay out of trouble and it seems to all unfold on the final lap. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, where do you see the team finishing? I know ETE have been really quite competitive with you, both latecomers coming into this season, but, you know, I'm sure there's a little bit of inter-team rivalry going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, SLR and myself, I mean, everybody on the grid, we're always chasing for the highest position. So, yeah, for me, it's just making sure, you know, to balance school and practice, but get the most practice in and, you know, try the best in the races, get as high up as possible, stay out of trouble, and ultimately the positions come from there.
We'd love to hear that. Loveland?
Yeah, I was just going to ask what happened on the last lap, because I checked, you were P13, P14, you finished P9, so do you want to run us through what happened at the end there?
Yeah, well, I said to my teammate Sam in the pie, I was going to kick off on the final corner, and honestly, I thought they were people just going to push each other off, and it was going to, you know, elbows are out. But I think Zinny and Triarty and maybe Dan might have been caught up in it, but they just both spun on the final corner. And yeah, the rest of us, like Bobbert and Risks as well, we managed to just pick up some positions.
It's a very strong result, though. Once again, second week in a row. We're going to see you after the break week at Hungary.
Yeah, hopefully. Another pretty decent track for me, so hopefully I can get in for the lineup for SLR and try get it in the top 10 again.
I hope so. Congratulations, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, well done indeed. I think that's all that we're going to be able to chat to, because amongst all the chaos in the TRS chat, it is all kicking off. This needs administrating, it needs modding, all that good stuff. Don't tune in next week. That's one of 2 times we'll be saying that this season. We won't be here because it's a break week. So after that, feel free to join us in Hungary. I might be there, I might not. I'm missing round 6, but I'll be there at round 5, hopefully. So either way, thank you again, Loveland. Been a pleasure.
Yep, thank you very much.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one, because my batteries are going to die again. Bye-bye.